Over the weekend, I suggested to the Prime Minister that he cut the aid budget, and I'm pleased that he accepted my advice. Mr. Speaker, it's the fastest response.
I'm going to have to let the Leader of the Opposition down gently. She didn't feature in my thinking at all. I was so busy over the weekend I didn't even see her proposal. I think she's appointed herself, saviour of the Western civilization. It's a desperate search for relevance. But Mr. Speaker.
Welcome back. Yeah, here we go. So I know y'all seen it. The online war has been going on for some time now. The online tribalism. And I want to get into that and talk about that a little bit more. Since 1782, our ancestors have been referring to us as African Americans or the American African. And all of a sudden, in 3-4 years, we have a whole new ethnicity. That shows that the people aren't grounded. But, you know, to each his own, you could do what you want. And we'll talk about that right now. So let's get into it. And I just showed that little video there. And I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Africans be cooning. Not all of them, and it ain't just them. But Africans be kissing white ass a lot coming to America and over there in England. You saw the chick just get embarrassed. What's her name? Kimmy, Kumi, whatever her name is. Talking about she's here to save Western civilization, and the homeland she comes from is an absolute disaster. Western civilization, you better worry about saving West Africa. But let's be real, they've given up on West Africa. They've given up on Africa, a lot of Africans. Not all, but too many to count. So let me just focus on America. But that was a good indicator of what we get coming over here. And I told Africans when I lived in Africa for 2 years, Africans be kissing ass. They gonna kiss ass on the job. They gonna kiss ass at work, and they gonna throw us under the table and tell white people that they don't like us and they hate African Americans. And they've been doing that for some time now. It ain't all of them. Some of them, like Brother Godfrey, he's Nigerian. He come over here. That brother's on code. So it ain't all of them, but it's too many to count. And so now we had a pushback that we like, fuck it. Fuck that whole relationship. We're trying to save Africa and unite with Africa. People are like, fuck it. Most of us have never been to Africa, and we've only met some Africans. I told Africans, we really only meet like 3 types of Africans. We meet a few West Africans, mainly Nigerians, and a few East Africans, mainly Ethiopians, some Kenyans. How many South Africans have you met face to face? None. You see, they get blocked out. They don't let them in, but that's another story. Yeah, they don't let them get in there. Even if you got the money to come to America, you still need a visa. So you got to go to the immigration office, the U.S. Embassy, and you got to sit in front of some white man or some white lady, and you got to smile and grin, and they're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions. And if they don't feel like they don't want to let you in, even if you're a millionaire, they don't got to let you in. So they look for them coons to bring over there. I was telling the brothers that. And another thing, some Africans, even though they don't want to admit it, they're jealous of us. We got to have a real one, y'all. Some of the like I said, you got to have a lot of money to get here, and that's rare in Africa. Most people are like lower middle class in the struggle. So you got this, you come from a big, huge house. You had servants, you have drivers. Old men call you yes ma'am and yes sir since you was 14. And you get over here with the people your ancestors most likely sold into slavery. I'll get to that in a minute. And we don't show you no respect. Not only that, people who are the lower tribes, who were slave tribes, they get treated like shit in Africa. If you're a small tribe, you don't get no respect. So for us to leave from that to be slaves and to rise up to arguably the greatest black people on earth. That shit, it'll make you jealous, man. A lot of them are jealous. Some African tribes, some African countries, they don't got no heroes. They don't got no Muhammad Ali. I mean, think about how many heroes we got. Ida B. Wells, Harriet Tubman, Huey Newton in the Black Panther. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. We don't even know how many heroes we got. They might got like 5 that really stood up against colonialism or whatever. They ain't got that. It's not part of their culture. And then you see everybody in Korea and Japan, they might not like black people, but they sure as hell like to copy us. Africans copy us. So you got to say, what the fuck? This is bullshit. I gotta, them people aren't better than me. And there's jealousy to it. There's jealousies to it. Let me tell you, when you go to Africa though, 80% it'll be all, you're like a celebrity. There's nothing like traveling, being an African American. You're like a low grade, like a Z class celebrity. Even if people have money, they still want to talk to you. It's like cool to have you in the crew. You get treated so much better being an African American outside of America than you do in it. It's really wild. And so that's the thing, man, that there is that jealousy thing to us, whether they want to admit it to it or not. And let's be real. That's one thing that we do have with Africans, but a lot of African Americans and Africans, we're ashamed of Africa. We not want to say that honestly, but we're ashamed of Africa. We're ashamed of 2 things. Africa looks, what we see on TV, if you haven't been there, it looks very undeveloped. We think everything is dirt roads, and we think they ain't got shit. We think that they're savages and uneducated, and Africans get treated like hoes on the world stage. I mean, name a mighty African country with a mighty army. There's maybe like 1 or 2 that are like half-ass. And we just saw South African president in front of Trump bending the knee, so it ain't looking too good. Africa is the world stage's bitch. It's changing, but nah. And we're ashamed of that shit. So you got a lot of uneducated Negroes saying, we never came from Africa. The slave trade never happened. I mean, we got a lot of people with low IQs, let's be honest. And they don't want to be associated. They'd rather be associated with Native Americans, who, even if you took West Africa, like Timbuktu and all the great stuff we got there, the Ashanti, the Akan, 2-story buildings, indoor plumbing, indoor toilets, it's way outdone the Cherokee and the Choctaw. I've never seen the 3-story building that the Cherokee have made. Have you? I've never seen indoor toilets that the Choctaw made. Have you? Because West Africa alone was far, far more advanced than they were. Now, when you get down to Mexico and stuff, that's a different story. But even we are more advanced than them. We'd rather be the natives, because the natives in the media are portrayed as being better than Africans. And that's not the true story. That's another video though. So we don't want to be associated with weakness. We don't want to be associated with losers. So we don't want to be Africans related to Africans or have anything to do with them. And is Africa a shithole? Parts of it, yes, and parts of it, no, man. I lived there for 2 years. I've been mostly in the southern region and Ethiopia for a little bit, but mostly in the southern region. Like some places, specifically West Africa is probably there's real nice places in West Africa, but it's probably the most undeveloped. East Africa comes up second, and then the southern region, South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, that's the most developed region. Mostly because the Dutch and the Germans settled there, and they built the initial infrastructure. But the blacks did keep it built up still. Like if you go to Namibia and Botswana, it's very clean there. They ain't got no big, huge skyscrapers. They got some nice buildings, but the roads are very clean. Like I was telling them, I was like, yo, it ain't all that bad. But you go to parts of Nigeria, and some parts of Nigeria are nice, but they got just dirt roads with big ass potholes everywhere. Cameroon, They had the guy, this sellout Paul Biya. He been there since the 80s. It's a disaster, and there ain't no way around that. And a lot of people think, oh, well, that's Africa, and they want to say all types of insults to Africa. You got people online calling Africans monkeys and shit. We're such a damaged and brainwashed people that we out there calling other black people monkeys and talking about they real black and stuff. But you know, we got that sickness. We all got that sickness. But it's not like that everywhere. Like, I was in Botswana and Namibia, I was telling them, brothers, y'all are doing very well, especially by African standards. I was like, y'all just need to industrialize, get the economy together, and y'all will be one of the top places in Africa, if not the world. It's absolutely beautiful here. You see all these white people coming to tourism. Kenya, Namibia, Rwanda, beautiful. Tourists always come in there, beautiful. It's an unemployment rate of about 40%, so it's hard to get a job there. But it's coming along. The next thing we are ashamed of, be honest now, we're ashamed of the slave trade. We're ashamed that it wasn't like the Chinese who got defeated by the British, or the Indians who got defeated by the British. It was the white man showing up, let's be honest about that, making deals with people, and our own people selling our own people out. That's a whole long story, and it is more complicated than that. But a lot of Pan-Africans, we don't want to talk about it. They want to say, oh, it was just some tribes. Bro, there was a lot of people kidnapping and selling people. I equate it to the crack cocaine epidemic of our own people doing harm to our own people, even though it was somebody else behind it. So there's kind of 3 points I'll just say real quick in the slave trade. There's tribe versus tribe, where we're just having a war with another tribe, and then the losers of that tribe, whatever's left, even their children, they get sold off into the white man. Hey. Then there's intertribal fights where it's clan versus clan. You know, that'd be like North Philly versus South Philly, even though y'all from Philly, and then the losers get sold to there. And then there's kidnapping, which there's some instances, which I've read, and I'll get into this later in another video, that possibly most of the people were actually kidnapped. So you got to think about how many people are just kidnapping people. One writer wrote it that the lady, she wanted to go have dinner with somebody, and on her way back, like her relatives or somebody, friends from another village, when she was leaving, somebody kidnapped her and brought her to the boat. So there's all types of backstabbing and funny stuff. We had a cultural failure, and we got to be honest about that. Now, the thing is, everybody's like, Africans sold us. Not every African tribe was selling slaves. Now, I said there was different things. There was a tribe on tribe where it was just war, and then it was inter-clan warfare, and then it was kidnapping. But another tribe, like the Zulu weren't major slave traders. There was some slave trading, but it wasn't like around the Guinea coast of Africa or Angola. But the Zulu were imperialists. So instead of kidnapping you and selling you into slavery, they beat you in war, and now you're part of the Zulu tribe. So they was integrating more people in through conquer, and then we bring you in. The Chinese did that. It was small at first, and then it keeps expanding. So it's not the same everywhere. So don't try to blame that on all Africans. But we're ashamed of that. But we shouldn't be, because look how white people glorify the Vikings. Oh, I'm a Viking. We was Vikings. The Vikings slave traded the goddamn Irish and the English and everyone around. The Vikings were the most pillaging, goddamn demonic people around, and they were major slave traders of white people. But you never hear white people pointing the finger at them. Like, we got that problem with African nations, and we need to work on that. I do believe that if you have a certain DNA level back to a place, that you should be given a right of abode, or at least citizens, to something like that. Let me come kick it. You know, I got 50% whatever. It's another story. But we're ashamed of that. And like I said, Africans came to America and they showed their whole ass, and maybe rightfully so, somewhat. Niggas had to trip the wire on them and check them. Now, the second people that everybody's feuding with is the Caribbeans. The Jamaicans, the Haitians, everybody else coming up here. Maybe not the Haitians too much, somewhere here and there. You know, the Haitians always had a bad rap. But now, it's like, yo, we hate the Caribbeans too, and we want them out of there. People were talking all this crazy shit, and it's like, what, the Caribbeans used to be our homies. Let's not act like the Caribbeans just came up here. The Caribbeans been in America since the 1920s, early 1900s. Some of them race riots, like in Chicago, Detroit, New York, the Caribbeans was right beside us, whipping ass with us, or getting our ass whooped with us. So they've been up here a minute with us. But the Caribbean started tripping a little bit too, let's be honest. And that one hurts because those was our dogs. Like Marcus Garvey, Herbert Humphrey. There's too many Caribbeans that came up here to report of the Harlem Renaissance. And it's like, man, y'all was our dogs. Now y'all talking crazy. I didn't hear Caribbeans. You think I some Yankee? You think I some Yankee? The fuck you talking about? You talking about me? Oh, that was my homie. Caribbeans invented rap. Like, bro, come on now. Now, yeah, Kool Herc had a major part in rap and beat making, but how somebody who don't rap is the first rapper? Rap goes back to, and we're getting caught up in bullshit, but rap goes back to the early 1900s, late 1800s. It was called the Dozens, and we used to rhyme and battle each other. It's from insulting like the Dozens, but we did it to poetry. I'm from the Mississippi and I brought the piss with me. Oh, you from the Mississippi? Well, I'm from Detroit and I brought the fork, or I don't know, some shit like that. But we used to rhyme like that and battle each other, and that's where rap just came from. And then eventually when it went to New York, that came up with everything else, and they invented hip hop, which has 5 elements to it. I don't want to get into all that shit, but rap is a part of hip hop, and hip hop was created in New York. But that shit comes from the South. That comes from us. Now you want to say the boom bap and all that and graffiti and breaking, like that comes from Caribbeans coming in there, okay, but the major point was rap was there. We was already dancing and battling each other, so don't act like if you wasn't there that it wouldn't be there. And they did contribute to some of our stuff. Fats Domino was a Haitian, so they've been in our music for a while, but come on now. Everything that we've ever done, every form of music really comes from gospel, and then from the gospel came the blues, and everything breaks off of that. But like I said, a lot of other black people are jealous of us. It's just the honest to God truth. I ain't jealous of no Yankee. Come on, brothers. Come on. The Jamaicans used to have the Jamaican reggae music on Smash in the early 2000s. Oh man, that reggae gold. We was on that. But they didn't stick together, man. They didn't keep pushing reggae music. They wanted to come make bullshit rap with us. Not that rap was bullshit in the beginning, but what it became into. And it's just a disaster. And they want to act like they want a part of this shine rather than holding on and doing their thing. And it's just like, man, stop. When we gonna stop acting like monkeys in the circus and start acting like apes? White people call us apes. I said that in another video, but we don't act like apes. We act like goddamn monkeys in the circus, and we just want that shine instead of going for actual power. So we mad at them too, and niggas got on their ass too. And then online, it's just a constant everyday thing, back and forth, attacking them and attacking them and attacking them and attacking them. And I noticed it's too much to be organic. It's too much every day. And that proves to me, when you see that much tribalism, that it's an outside hand. I guarantee we're going to find out 10, 20, whatever years later, that government agencies had a major implication in all this tribalism, that they were making it up. I guarantee it. That some of these online account people are funded by the usual suspects. I guarantee it. And we know it. I'm not saying that there's not a problem there. I'm not saying that we ain't got a problem with other black people and they hating. I'm just saying, do we not have bigger problems than that? Yeah, we had to trip and we had to get in some people's asses. Sometimes online, I got to get in Africans' asses too. Like, hold up, who you talking to? But them is not my enemies. Them is distant cousins and distant relatives. We're a powerless people. That's why we look to fight each other. It's just the truth. So another thing sometimes people say is, well, Africans, they can't relate to us. They don't say they're black. Africans don't even say that they're black. Only we are black. That's bullshit, and that shows you don't know history. This is why I say the southern region is one of the best regions for us to be in there. Because the southern region, not just South Africa, but South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, they all had apartheid, which is Jim Crow. They had big ass signs that said black only, no blacks allowed, no blunky allowed. They was under apartheid. They had to walk around with dog tags on. They was treated lesser than men. Their women got sexually assaulted so bad, they a whole different color just like us now. You go to the southern region and you're light skinned, brown skin, you're going to blend right in. There was already the Khoi and the San tribes there who are naturally light skinned, but there's so much admixture. You know why, just like us, you'll blend right in. And they got that black power mindset there. It ain't as strong as us, but it's there. They say we are black and black people need to do this and black people need to do that. See, other parts of Africa, they can't really relate. Kenya, a little bit. Kenya don't really want to talk about the history, but the southern region, they can relate to us and they act just like us too, for good and bad. So don't try to say, oh, Africans don't say they black. No, say them people from that African country don't say that. Them fools over there. Now, what would be the best thing? This is my problem with the whole movement and all this shit. I don't hate America. And I had to think about this. I said this before. There's a difference between America and Americans. I love Americans. I grew up with Americans. I've been helped out by people of all races and colors and all that stuff. That's Americans. But America's on some shit. The crack cocaine, the redlining, how much shit have they done to us? We got to go down the list, we know. And then the thing is, our people, our ethnicity, our tribe, what we're going to do after all that madness and the 2020 riots and all that shit, what we're going to do now is just dust off the American flag and wrap ourselves in it and say, this is my country and this is what it is and I'm just going to deal with it. Like, we gonna bend the knee to Mr. Charlie and the abuse? That's the plan? Let me tell you something. No matter what you do, if we stop calling ourselves black and we just say we're Americans, no matter what you do, these people will always whoop our ass. Always. Our grandchildren's grandchildren, as long as they are black and Negroes, they're gonna catch an ass whooping. They're gonna be treated like shit. Why? Because it's been designated in Western white supremacist culture that the black is at the bottom. And no matter how poor you are or how rich they are, or how educated you are, you and your people are supposed to be above them. And we're going to prove that. Why is this Negro driving through this town with that big car with them big rims on it? We pull him over. And then something's going to happen. And that jury's going to get on code and they're going to say he was in the right to kill you. Are they going to find you somewhere on a tree and they're going to say you committed suicide and they're going to get on code because it is us versus them and the blacks are supposed to be on the bottom and the blacks are supposed to know their place. So if that's what it is, my thing is, how do you just accept that? I told somebody the other day, Black America is like a battered woman in a rich house. We live in this big, beautiful house. We've been married to John for 20 years now, 400 years. And, you know, sometimes John, he get a little bit in him. He gets a little drink in him and pow, smack the shit out of you, black bitch. I ain't trying to be funny. That's what it is. You know, we get our ass whooped from time to time. You know, maybe we get a scratch in on John. We get a nice little hit in. We fuck up one of his cities and burn it down. But that ain't really doing shit. He whooping our ass. Whooping our ass and been whooping our ass. And then after he whoops our ass, he says, oh, I'm sorry. Well, let me take you to the Olympics. Look how much you have. What are you complaining about? What are you complaining about? Those other black people over there, look how good they're doing. They're happy. What are you complaining about? Yeah, a lot of them black people over there, they come in here, first off, you check to make sure that they were coons. And they come from countries that are such disasters. They'll take bending the knee. They'll take being third, fourth class. Being the family dog. That's good to them. I'm not with that shit. Why are y'all with that shit? See, I can't do that, man. My grandfather was in World War II. I got all types of people in the military. I used to want to be an Army Ranger at one point. Till I started waking up and I see what it is. My problem isn't with Americans, it's with America. The system ain't no AI system. The system is people. The dominant society, it's people, and they're together and getting on code and proving a point that the Negroes are at the bottom and they're supposed to stay at the bottom. And a lot of us have accepted that, whether consciously or subconsciously. Hey, this is just what it is, and I'm gonna keep working hard, and this is my country, and I'm gonna keep at it. Keep at what? Trying to change these people? I ain't trying to change nobody. Come on, man. Nah. It will never stop. So what's a better plan and a better grand scheme? Now, let me say this. Again, a lot of people, black ideology, Pan-Africans, whatever, they think, oh man, we got to save Africa. Once Africa's big and once Africa's strong, then they're going to help and they're going to do that. And look, yo, that's not guaranteed. One. And two, we don't need all of Africa. When we talk about the power of Western society, it's not everybody. No white people give a fuck what Poland think. Like, oh, Iran and America are about to go to war. What does Poland think? No one gives a fuck about Poland. What does Yugoslavia, Estonia, what do they think? No one gives a fuck. We need 3 to 5 powers in the black race. Race comes first. That's our ideology and our culture. Our tribe, our people come first, the American Africans, then the race comes first. So the race needs 3 to 5 superpowers. I don't know exactly where it's going to be or who it's going to be. Let me tell you, we don't need everybody. We need 3 to 5 major powers. And those powers have to have the correct ideology. They got to have that black mindset. They got to have that Huey P. Newton mindset, that Marcus Garvey mindset. Malcolm X mindset. Then we'll get it together. Then we'll see the world change. Then people will stop fucking with us. Now the question is, do we as American Africans, black Americans, do we want to be one of them 3 to 5 powers? We don't have shit to say in this country. Let my cat out the door. We ain't got shit to say in this country. I got a country. What are you talking about? Shut up, fool. If we want to go to the moon, we don't. If we want to go to the moon in the middle of June, we ain't got no say in that. We're the family dog. We're just here to tag along. We got some cultural power here and there, but that we ain't even using it correctly. Look at our music. Look at the people that speak for us. Whenever it comes to black topics, they get some idiotic low IQ foreign black that don't know nothing about black ideology. Or they'll get some soft, moist Negro to get up there and talk for us. That's a coward and ready to bend the knee. We don't control this shit. We don't even control our culture anymore. So we got to say, hey, do we want to be one of them 3 to 5 powers? Because we could be, but it's going to be hard. I say we should be one of it, because if you look at the entire black race, who is the strongest? I do believe we are the strongest. We just don't want to stand up. We want to bend the knee. I think we should be doing business and trade with Africa, but mostly spreading the culture. When I was in the southern region, sometimes, it's 2 types. So there's coons everywhere, but sometimes the brothers would be they'd hate white people too much, and I would tell them, yo, don't get into that. All this, they got a song called Kill the White Man, Kill the Boer. Kill the white man. Shoot the farmer. I'm like, yo, stop singing that song. Saying killing white people, singing that shit don't do nothing. I know you like pissing white people off like we do, but that don't do shit at the end of the day. We got to go for power. We got to get the trade together. We got to get everybody employed, and then we go for building military. In Black America, we can do the same thing, and we might have to do the same thing. If we do go to war with Iran, y'all wrapped in American flags, y'all joining up? White people are pissed that they about to go to war for that country with a star in their flag. What if they break up and balkanize? Where are you going? You going with the North or the South? I just talked about that. Come on now. We might have to do this shit. So the better plan, the better scream is 3 to 5 powers for this race. If these countries just want to have thieves in there, man, Africa's rough, bruh. You're gonna see why they some places, like I said, it is very nice, and they have roads and everything, but other places you'll never see selfishness like this in your entire life. It's just these old men, they get and they take all the money and they don't give a fuck about nobody. Sometimes I just graduated college, but at the master's and PhD level, I talked to a lot of Chinese students, and they would say even though America is dirtier and the infrastructure ain't as good as China, they'd rather stay in America because it's freer. China, you get a fine for looking at pornography. So China ain't as free, but you know what? The old Chinese man, he gives a damn about his children. He cares about them. These old African leaders, too many to count, they don't give a fuck about Africans. They let them starve. They let them be hungry. There's dirt roads everywhere. The electricity's going out in these countries. And you just like, God damn, well, hey. If the people don't want to make a change and they want it to stay that way, hey, so be it. I'm sorry. We got to move on. Hopefully one day y'all get it together. But right now, we just need about 3 to 5 powers and we can make it happen. And we can turn this thing around. It's looking like the brothers in the AES is doing it. It's going to be tough. There's a lot of tribalism, but the roots are there. Like I said, the southern region, we got to focus on people who got a culture like us. People would ask me, Ed, do you listen to Malcolm X? Do you listen to the Louis Farrakhan brother? Somebody asked me, do you listen to Kevin Samuels? Some of our culture spreads, but other places, it's just selfishness and caring for yourself. And that's that thug, that ignorant mentality. You'll see how we got sold into slavery. Some people, they just don't give a fuck, and it shows in them places is cursed. And I hope that one day they do turn it around, but hey, in the meantime, we got to go for power. So in conclusion, I've dealt with people and foreign blacks with saying some real foul shit to us. Don't let that get to you. We got a bigger plan. Don't let the psyop and the enemy use our emotions against us. Some of them people, they come from shithole countries, and they're going to remain shithole countries for the next 100 years. But if we could turn 3 to 5 countries around, if we can get 2 regions to unite, like the AES is uniting, it's going to change the game. And if we break off and we do our own thing, man, we're going to lead a mighty race. What our brother Marcus Garvey said, up you mighty race. Let's lead them. I know it's hard. Because we the younger brother, we the youngest one. Like Michael Corleone, but to whom much is given, much is required. One of our elders, John Henry Clark, called us the lonely child. Because we've been all alone, man. We've been alone here for the most part for 400 years. It wasn't like the Caribbean where you could connect with this one and that one. The Caribbean used to have it together, and they overthrowed the enemy together, but they stopped working together. Get into that some other time. And it feels like, yo, what the fuck? And all you people coming here, I thought y'all was my brothers, and you gonna be hating on me? That's because we're weak. We'll get that together. It is up to us to lead this race to greatness. We just need a few good soldiers to flip this thing around. I don't know who it's going to be. I'd like to see more African countries united. I'd like to see the whole Caribbean united. I don't know if that's going to happen. But like I said, we only need 3 to 5. I'm Logical Black. I'm going to get back at y'all. I got some more coming. 1.